Hello everyone, this is Surf. Today we will be talking about the megacities to come, overdevelopment, and underpopulation. I think we're going to have a good time here today. Like the video, subscribe to the channel for more Stoneworks and Minecraft related content, and we're going to dive right on in. So, like all the rest of the videos, we got 3 parts. The threat of overdevelopment, the lack of rehabilitation, and potential solutions to all of that. This all centers around people's inclination or people's preference, either conscious or unconscious, to build fresh, build on undeveloped land, build in the middle of the woods, or so they think they are. But in reality, they're just adding another pockmark in the earth, just leaving tons and tons of ruins around it completely untouched. So let's get right on in. So you're building a new city, you're building a new nation. What do? You want a capital city. You want it to be the biggest and the most impressive visually thing that anyone has ever seen in their life. So what are you going to do? You're going to build big, and you're going to want to demonstrate your prestige to the rest of the world. And that's sort of the standard thing to do. That's sort of how it's always been. Attracting players with displays of prestige and displays of wealth. It almost feels natural to do that. However, everyone's sort of doing this, and half the people are quitting the service halfway through, or it's half destroyed in a war or something, and there's always new players coming in with the same idea of building the best, greatest, and most effective capital anyone has ever seen. And so what it comes up with is just constructions absolutely everywhere, and once those nations fall, or the nations no longer become their capital and they become depopulated, we've just got ruins everywhere, some impressive, some not so much, and they're just kind of all over the place, no longer claimed, no longer kept up, and it's just becoming sort of a mess. We're going to take a look at something right here. This is the Dynamap of Rathnir. On the eastern side, we've got Viadoxid. On the western side, we've got Alderash. But in the middle here, there is just all of this stuff. And every green block here is a claim. Now, this is not a political map. It does not show borders. But let's take a look at this place right here. This is sort of northern Tortuga, I'm guessing, right off the top of my head. But look at all this unclaimed wildness over here. We got a good road system, a kind of cool looking road system. That's cool. We've got a farm area right here, unclaimed. What appears to be a whole underground, underwater, half underground civilization right here. I don't know if this is a farm or the roof of a city. That's pretty crazy. We've also got 2 looking towns right here. Completely unclaimed. Another town here. A fort looking structure here. A fort structure there. A wall town here. What is this, a graveyard? What is that? Another sort of apparatus. I can't even tell you what that is. Destroyed farm here. Now, we're just looking. Provided with a few more populations. Here's like a wall looking thing. That's nice. Combined with a few more people and the growth of a land area. Like this could all be one massive city if they tried. If they combined some wealth and we're all one nation and got some things going. Here's a pretty good town right here. And it's all just so scattered. Like, it's not consolidated. People are off doing their own thing, and that's kind of cool. That is kind of cool that people are doing that. But there's no wilderness anymore, you know what I'm saying? There's no wild. And also, there seems to be no rehabilitation going on. There's no people that are inhabiting this and making it their own thing. They're always making a whole new construction and hoping it lasts the stretch of time, instead of finding new towns, or finding old towns rather, and reclaiming them for their own purposes. And it's a vicious cycle until there is just going to be fields and fields of ruins in between actually populated areas. And that's not cool. Well, you might think it's cool. I think it's better off either completely destroyed or re-inhabited with new players, instead of new players going off and building their own new town instead. And as I previously stated, there is this massive preference of building new and not re-inhabiting old structures. The wilderness for us seems to have a mystical quality, like we're some new settlers and we want to tame the land. So we find this place in the middle of nowhere, semi-good scenery, and we just start building it up. We start developing it like no one's ever seen before, or at least trying to do that. And what we end up with is, over time, nations rise and fall, and we've got these massive ruins. Sometimes they're not even massive, they're just everywhere. These ruins that have history. Don't get me wrong, they have history. However, what we're going to come up to if we don't fix this is a wasteland. There'll be no wilderness, and there's just going to be wasteland of destroyed civilizations and sort of dots here and there of populated areas before Rathnir is reset or we get a new map or whatever the staff team decides to do. And this is everywhere. This is on Eldham now too, but the problem is mainly on Rathnir since it's been here for so long. And if you go on the Dynamap and you are having a look at all of the claimed areas, you'll see all the population centers, all the towns, all these big old towns that are filled with people, but you go to the one settlement, two settlements beyond it, and there's just maybe 1 to 3 people that live there. Who knows if they're still active or not. But that's something that needs to be considered, is that the capital of every nation is filled to the brim with people. However, all of the surrounding claims are barely populated. There's no secondary population centers from what I've seen, and if they are, they're very rare and are found within regionalized countries, very non-centralized countries with non-centralized forms of government. And everywhere else is just sparse. There's deserted, filled with ruins. Now, moving on to the last category we have here. I kind of did the first two all jumbled up, but the last category we have here, potential solutions. My first solution that I came up with is historical reconstruction. Get the historians on board, have the historians claim all of these ruins, do research on them, figure out who lived there, for how long, if anyone important ever sort of set up their claim there, and figure out what it's all about. See who you can see, what happened, why was it deserted, was it purely inactivity, or was there a war that happened that forced people to flee? Because nations will commonly depopulate if a war is lost. They will flee to some more stable nation and try to make a better living there, particularly if they didn't have a stake in the previous government, if they were just a civilian or a farmer or a soldier even. But usually if they have a government position, they won't be leaving. They're going to try to stick it out, but sometimes not if their nation was completely annexed. But that's something that you can find out if you're a historian and you want to figure out what the ruin next to you is all about. Secondly is resource reclamation, and that entails the complete demolition of the ruin in question. Take those resources for yourself. They're unclaimed, nobody's there, nobody's using them. Destroy everything. Take it back to your own storehouses and build something new with it. Just completely demolish it. Make sure nothing's left. Restore it to the forest that it was. Better yet, plant some trees. Reclaim the land, not just all the resources it has. Clear all the buildings and just make a new forest. That's something for you Anprims out there. I think you Anprims out there would like that. Go out and find whatever's not claimed and restore it to the wild. Return to monkey, you know? The last solution I came up with, and in my opinion, the most creative, is what I like to call strategic renting. And we see this in our real life, how America in particular and also other nations have military bases in other people's land. Like it's technically U.S. soil or whoever's nation the military base is official soil. However, that does not have to change the Rathmere world map or the Eldham world map. Just find a ruin that's in your nation if you're a nation leader or have power within the nation whatsoever, and invite another power, hopefully a friendly power that you don't have to worry about, and say, you can claim this land and use it as a strategic base, village, trading thing, whatever, but you have to pay us maybe once a week, every other week, whenever you decide to continue to use your stuff on our land. I think that has a lot of potential. Just write up a doc, write up a contract of every week, every however often, this nation A pays nation B in either money or resources or whatever for the use of a particular claim on their land. I think that can go a long way. But tell me what you think. Do you think that any of my ideas have any real weight? Do you like them a lot? Do you not like them at all? Do you have any other solutions that come to mind when you hear my suggestions? Talk about it. Talk about it in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Let me know. Argue with each other. Tell me what you think. Next episode, I'm doing something a little bit creative. An all endings video for the Allium Coalition War. Minimum sort of commentary, but maximum meme potential, I suppose. So stay tuned.